Ich schaue jetzt schon seit 2 Jahren diesen Besen an. Bin immer noch nicht rausgekommen. Und damit hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video. Letztes Mal habe ich mich einfach in die Besenkammer gestellt. Ich gehe jetzt mal
Ah,
raus.
second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Genau. Ja, ich bin vorhin gestorben und jetzt lebe ich wieder. Aber ich bin nicht mehr ich, sondern ich bin ein anderer.
Coming to a staircase,
Ja.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Tut er das? Tut er das wirklich? Macht Stanley das, was man ihm sagt? Nein. Stanley ging zu dem roten Licht. Okay. Nee, Stanley ging nach unten in den komischen Raum mit dem roten Licht dann rein und fand
But
ein
Stanley
Auto.
just couldn't do it.
Genau.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be
Yep.
fired for that.
Genau.
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as
Stimmt.
Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Stimmt.
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Ja.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I
Ja.
suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as
Ja.
well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the
What?
ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the
Stimmt.
voice was
Warum
describing
existierst du?
itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
Wenn
He
ich
would
nur.
prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Es hat nicht geklappt.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh, ach, okay. Dann halt nicht.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Was?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Was? Die dreht sich um und ran? Warum? Warte, Telefon. Hier. Wo ist das? Ist das Telefon?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Okay. Komisch. Ah, 2. Okay, ich habe jetzt wahrscheinlich einen Computer verpasst, aber das ist ja nicht so schlimm. Kann bestimmt immer noch machen. Jetzt mache ich erstmal genau das, was der Dude mir sagt. Falls ich den Dude nochmal zu hören bekomme. Aha. Ja, ich gehe und ich denke. Ja, das ist richtig. Das mache ich immer. Denn ich bin Stanley. Und da gehe ich auch hier durch. Ohne irgendwas nachzufragen.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Oh. Oh, er sagt nichts dazu. Schade. Okay, ja, ich gehe nach oben.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ja, das tue ich denn. Ich bin Stanley. Oh, schade. Hier sieht's richtig gut aus. Was ist das? Warum sind da zwei Tele... Ja, okay, gut. Ich kann ja durchgucken. Hihi. Oh.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Kann ich hier was öffnen? Nope, okay, schade. Oh, Klavier. Schade. Okay. Runter. Okay, ich gehe runter. Es lädt. Oh, steht jetzt nur noch Loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh. Mein Licht.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Sicher, dass Stanley das macht? Also ich glaube, Stanley geht zu dem Schild, wo drauf steht Ausgang.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, nice. Let's go.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Hatte Stanley? Aber Stanley hat sich
Stanley
gedacht,
was making a
nein.
conscious, concerted effort to walk forward
Yep.
and willingly confront his death.
Exakt, Stanley wollte einfach nur sterben. Deswegen rennt er einfach nach vorne und springt in das ominöse Loch oder guckt nach einem anderen Ausgang. Er findet aber keinen, deswegen hat sich Stanley gedacht, ja, ich hüpfe da mal rein. Stanley ist gefallen und gestorben? Fragezeichen. Oh nee, Stanley fällt einfach nur weiter. Dann ist Stanley gelandet. In einer Kammer.
As the machine whirled
Oh,
into
shit.
motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the
my
real
God.
story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Nein, nein. What the...
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Nee, Stanley ist runtergefallen. Oh mein Gott, Stanley hat Kisten gesehen und wollte einfach nur... Ja, okay, gut, nevermind.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Ja, genau, frage ich mich auch. Erzähler, was wolltest du damit erreichen?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Was ist das? Office Layer. Das gucke ich mir mal an. Korridor. Easy. Right, this corridor has been moved and deleted to make sure the player reaches the Was in a good time. Ah. Okay, was gibt es hier? Die zwei Türen. The tale of two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game. Bla 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 bla. Building cabinets. Office Computer. Okay. Das ist eine gute Idee, Credits zu machen. Button sounds. A selection of sounds used to when buttons are pressed, each sound is a mix of keyboard stroke and what? Okay, das Office. Ist das wohl ein Museum oder? Hm. Was gibt es hier? Maintenance Room. Irgendwelche Zahlen. Ach, der Drucker. Krieg? Was? Also ich komme daher. Okay. Das ist das hier. Die Lounge. Das Telefon. Okay. Apartment Timer. Was ist das? Cargo Lift. Oh. Das ist echt. Meeting Room. Das ist echt gut gemacht. Aha. Hebel. Wait a minute. Ausgang? Hier der Ausgang ist. Was war dann? Warte mal. Wo geht's nochmal zurück zum Office? Hm. Aber was war nochmal? Wo ist das denn? Hä? Wo? Was? Okay, also ich habe einen Ausgang entdeckt. Dann gab es in dem Hauptraum, wo ich jetzt gerade bin, jawohl, noch diesen Computer da hinten. Mal gucken, was der macht. Nix, okay. Dann war wirklich der Ausgang, du hast aber, was war mit Stanley Push the Big Button? Da war doch gerade irgendwas. Was? From like Harris, a big question. Hi, Mr. Narrator. I have a question for you. Wait, was? Oh. Hey. Da hinten ist der Ausgang, oder? Nee. Okay. Aha, hier ist mein Office. Dreimal. Ah, genau hier. Die Computer sind jetzt an. Nee, das sind wieder aus. Countdown Desk. One of the desks from here. Ah. Wir sind auf the Countdown Ending. Countdown Ending. Freedom Ending. Boah, ich will... Oh, ich gehe mal zum Exit. Was ist Exit?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see?
Nee,
Can you see how
nee.
much they need
Es
one
ist alles
another?
dunkel.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Yep. Kann ich...
But listen to me.
What?
You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let
Okay, was soll ich tun?
time
Okay, ich hätte beenden können. Aber warum sollte ich das Spiel beenden, wenn ich das Spiel auch spielen will? Okay. Wie es aussieht, bin ich tot. Okay. Also, das war's mit diesem Video. Lasst ein Like und ein Abo da, das würde mich sehr freuen und unterstützen. Schaut beim nächsten Mal vorbei und tschüss.